Yes, welcome back. Now let's get the show on the road. 2023 is fast approaching. The general elections are fast approaching. And politicians and all alike are jostling for one post or another. But Nigerians are, of course, in a quandary. You could say that they're spoiled for choice. You could say that there's too many people contesting. But Nigerians seem to be in a quandary right now. I mean, it's still a long time to the elections, and the primaries haven't been held yet. But of course, we're all looking already and trying to source out, okay, who do you think is going to get the ticket? And if this person gets the ticket, is he the credible leader that we're looking for? Will he be able to do this job that we want to give him to do? These are all questions that we're asking now, and we're going to ask our panel this morning. It's my pleasure to welcome, is it doctor or professor?
Well, I think Anthony Killer will be fine with that. Let's stick to
Okay. It's my pleasure to welcome Anthony Killer, Professor of Strategy and Development. Well, this is a professor then, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a profession. That's not a name.
Okay. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Good to be here.
So like I was saying, there's so many people coming out.
Yes.
Yes. I do apologize, Prof. We also have Mr. Olubenga Adeoye, who is a chartered accountant, who is joining us via Zoom. Good morning.
Good morning.
And thank you for joining us.
Here today. Thank you.
So back to you, Mr. Killer. There is a whole long list of people who are showing interest in governing,
Yes.
in being president of Nigeria.
Yes.
And Nigerians are wondering what we need at this time, because the challenges that face us are myriad. We need a credible leader.
Yes.
We need someone who can do the job.
Yes.
As we hunt for this staff, because he's the staff of Nigerians. He's going to come and work for Nigerians.
Yes.
So what do you think we should be looking for specifically in all these people, in the one that we're going to choose?
Well, I think you framed it well. You know, the idea that we're looking for staff that can do certain duties. You have framed it well. I agree with your preamble to it. But the problem is that too many people do not see it that way. Too many people do not have that consciousness to think that citizens are about to employ a staff that would manage affairs for them. I think there are too many people in the country who view the process of electing the president as if they're electing, they mistake the word leader, as if they're electing somebody that will be above them. So we're looking up to these people rather than looking at them. You know, really.
But we've been campaigning for a while now that the office of the citizen
Yes.
is higher than the office of the president or the office of the governor.
Well, I've been part of that campaign too, but frankly, if we say we have been doing it, then I think we need to look at ourselves and admit that that campaign has not worked in reality. Because,
But we can't give up, can we?
No, we cannot give up. Actually, it is because we cannot and we shouldn't give up. But if we want to succeed, we must understand that in reality, that consciousness, that citizen consciousness is not there yet. Because if it were there, people would not be treating political process and campaign as if it's a football match. You know, to say, my candidate will beat yours. Or the average Nigerian, if you say to them, who do you support?
Yeah.
The answer tends to be, this, your candidate cannot win. You know, rather than this is what I stand for. You know, everybody, rather than talk like a citizen to say, this is the person I'm going to support, everybody tends to be an analyst predicting as if it's a pool's game, you know, to say, this is the one that will beat the other. It shows you that that consciousness is there. So I undersign the campaign for citizenship. As a matter of fact, I've written a few papers on that, you know, saying that the office of the citizen is more important and people should have that sense of citizenship. Now, you seem to be an advanced person the way you preambulate your thing. So I'm going to catch up with you. But let me start from where we are at the moment. Where we are at the moment is that people are just looking vaguely to follow somebody, either for identity, charisma, or some sort of vague affiliation. But if we reframe it to say that we, the people, we citizens and consumers, let us add consumers as well, citizens and consumers are looking for a chief executive, then it will be clearer in our mind to say we're looking for somebody who can cover the role because they have certain attributes or because they have skills that shows they can deal with certain issues. And those skills, the way to demonstrate it, will be twofold. Will be their policies and perhaps their track record, to put it that way. But I think, unfortunately for us, we have over-mystified what democracy and politics is.
Yes, that seems to be the root cause of all our problems.
The bane, our biggest bane.
Yes, yes.
I argue that we should actually make it plainer. It's a very precise process. We should simplify, without oversimplifying. We should imagine that Nigeria is one big estate and that the president or the governor is an estate manager.
Ben.
Stop. We should just take it that way.
Okay, just leave it there. Okay.
Just take it that way. And from there, we then start to deal with the issue.
Okay. And if he's your estate manager,
yes,
you are the one paying him.
Yes.
So please always remember that. Nigerians, please always remember that. Now, Mr. Deye, how would you describe the credible leader?
Well, I have an acronym that I use to describe who should lead a country, and it is called full cast. FULLCAST. And so we need to now begin to look at the things that you need to look for in somebody to say, this guy is qualified to lead a country. Number one, he must be firm. Somebody...
F for firm.
Yes, F for firm. U for unifier. Somebody who can unite the country. And we have a country that is polarized by religion and ethnicity.
Yeah.
And so U for unifier. L for loving. He must be somebody who loves everybody, who is not going to be a sectional leader. And then the L, second L there, somebody who is lettered to a reasonable extent that he doesn't have to stay in the office and he says, where should I sign? Who does not understand the content of national issue? So he must be lettered. And the C there, he must be caring. He must be somebody who cares for the citizen. Somebody who is able to say, look here, I am concerned about every citizen no matter what happens. And then the word A there is somebody who is ready to be accountable. I feel so sorry that we don't give report to citizens. My colleague in the studio there, Professor Killer, was talking about an estate agent. Accountability is a responsibility of your employee. If you are the president of my country, you are my staff. You are supposed to give account. What does it take you to give account every month on revenue, on your cost, on project, and all forms of development? Now, the S there is that you must be somebody who is sound, both physically, intellectually, and we can see that in your emotion, that you are sound. And then the T there is that you must be somebody that can be trusted, so that we can entrust our lives in your hands. We can entrust our nuclear weapon in your hands. We can entrust our healthcare system, our rules, our airlines in your hands. So that's how I came up with
Mr. Deye, I beg your pardon.
Yes, please.
You spoke about, which one of it? Yes, accountable. And you said the president should be able to give account every month. Isn't that pushing it a bit too far? Every month?
It's not too far. What does it take you to give an account?
Every month?
Yes, 15-minute section on television, 20 minutes, 30 minutes is enough to tell the people. Now, let me tell you, Tell me at channels whether people don't give account of what you have to do. If you ask lawyers, they will tell you that every week there is what is called course list in every court. What is going to happen Monday to Friday, and then what had happened before. So, giving account is not a rocket science. Tell me how much we have received. Tell me how we have spent it. Tell me what you are doing about our situation. If we have a problem with our refinery, what are you doing about it? We have health issue. People are migrating in great numbers to UK, to Canada, to US. What are we doing about it to make our country a good place to live, to create employment? So you must be able to say, within the last 30 days, we've been able to complete this factory through private partnership participation. The refinery that is not working, we are right now at 75% state. Now, if you say, oh, 30 days is too much, then give a report in writing and let all the news media have it.
Okay.
Let the citizen have know what you're doing for them.
Professor, what are your thoughts about that, about a monthly report?
Well, I mean, I think it's a convention, whether it's monthly, whether it's 100 days. The key thing is that there should be a mechanism for accountability.
Accountability. Okay.
And, you know, there are two ways to it. It's either if you have a chief executive, whether it's a governor or a president. There's so much, perhaps too much emphasis on presidents, actually, because the governors matter a lot. We tend to overlook them. So let us put them together.
Prof, I do beg your pardon, but
yeah.
you also admit that it is that way because everything is federalized in Nigeria. I mean, excuse my expression.
It's a pseudo-federalism. It is that way because it's not federal enough, actually.
Yeah.
It is that way because everything is coming from the center, and we look at that, and we look at the center for too much.
And people have been screaming for devolution of powers.
Exactly.
Give the states more powers because they are the ones nearer the people. And from the state, devolve power to the local government level.
You see, that, for example, is a good project for the new kind of leadership we're looking for. A leader that accepts that he or she will have it as priority to decentralize. You know, I even go beyond that. I think generally what we need is a system that is decentralized, where power is devolved and where the process is digitalized for all we need to do. That is it's not a new thing that I've said. Yes, the 3 Ds of...
Professor.
Yes.
Totally digitalized?
Well, absolutely, as much as possible. Why not? That's the way the world is going to. You sound as if what you've done now, what you said is something like you want electricity everywhere.
Well, I do.
Well, that's the thing.
I do.
I'll tell you what. Let me just say this to you. The fear of digitalization is the fear somebody had a few years before electricity was allowed to be used. Somebody once said if God wanted us to have electricity at night, he wouldn't have created night and the moon. It would have been, because there is sun in the day and moon at night, that means there should be a time for darkness. It is not true. We can digitalize everything, actually. At least as much as possible. You know, you get people to lead on.
No, but Professor, this is Nigeria.
Yes.
And it seems from what we have seen in this country
yes.
that the systems in Nigeria are built so that corruption is built in.
Well,
and if you remove all the human elements, you know, all the processes, there'll be no room for corruption.
Yeah, that's the problem. It is because it is allowed. You know, man is overrated. Man everywhere, of every race and every gender. The truth is, left alone, people will corrupt, abuse, and disrupt the system for personal benefit at the exclusion of the larger society. And this is where leadership comes in. So we'll go back to leadership. It takes a group of a few enlightened leaders that can make the case for a more orderly and more certain and less chaotic society. And here's the thing. They're not just going to make it for principle, but for the benefit of the greater good. That is the point. You see, we need to have a system where things are orderly, less chaotic and certain for the benefit of the greater good. You know, there's no point telling women not to wear trousers just for principle. That is not for the greater good, I argue. But if you can make a law if you can set up a system where what you sacrifice is required are for the greater good, then it will work. And that is where leadership comes in. That is where vision comes in, to say that I have this vision and I put like minds together to get it done.
Professor, you have touched a very raw nerve there
Yes.
by mentioning the word vision.
Yes.
We have spoken about this a lot of times on this program, that we've all often asked the question, where is Nigeria's vision? What is Nigeria's vision? Where do we want to be in 10 years' time? But no leader has spoken to us about a vision. I want to take you, we've had development plans and all that, which majorly were not even followed.
Yes.
So where they said we were going to be, we did not get to. So are you therefore saying that right now, the leader we need is the one who has a vision for this country?
Well, absolutely. That is where to start from. And this is important. Students at CAPS, where I teach, will know this example we give a lot. The difference between a leader and a manager is that the leader takes from one place to the other, where the manager manages the present just to get by, which is not something little. If you put it that way, you think it's not a lot. But the leader has to say, this is where we are today, and this is where I plan to take us to in 4 years. Let's just even do 4 years. Let's not do 10 years, because you don't have the mandate of 10 years. So
Okay. You only have 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
Let us, in looking for a leader, let us limit our contract to a 4 years contract.
Okay.
And to say that if I have any vision that would go beyond 4 years, I would have to take that perhaps to the parliament for a qualified majority to sign. To say, I'm elected for 4 years. If I want to do something that will be 6 or 8 years, let the whole country agree, so that in case I don't come back after the 4 years...
So that there is a buy-in from the entire country.
That goes.
Okay.
Otherwise, I argue, and I'm not the only one, even people who have not succeeded in doing it have agreed with me, that most of the problems we have in this country are 4 years problem. They're solvable in 4 years. You just need the right people with the right vision to do it. People talk about corruption, which seems to be the biggest problem we have. So when we talk about corruption, we need to look, for example, for a leader that can handle corruption. But to handle corruption, we need to stop looking at corruption like a moral or just a criminal issue. It is moral, it is criminal, but it's not just that. Corruption thrives because of 4 or 5 things. One is scarcity of resources, because there is not enough of things. Where there is not enough, people will beg and they will bribe. If you make it enough, nobody will beg and bribe for it. So economically, we need to.
In fact, they may not even want it.
They may not even want it. That's the problem. Nobody begs and bribes for air because it is there. But put people where there's no water, they will start to beg and bribe for it. Then they will start to give it to their friends and take it away from people who are not their friends.
Yeah.
The other major cause of corruption that we're not looking at is uncertainty. Because it is not clear what will happen, because you can go to an office and somebody can decide not to see you or just change the law, people then abuse power. So if we want to fight corruption, we have to think of abundance, scarcity. Then we have to have certainties of laws, of process and system, so nobody can abuse it. You take certainty away, close to that is chaos. A system has to be predictable so that it won't be corrupt. You should know. I talk of digitalization. I call it a world of checklists. Yeah. You should know that if I need to get something from this office, these are the 5 things I need. It doesn't matter whether the person there likes me. It doesn't matter or not.
As long as I have those things.
We don't even need to talk to each other.
Yeah.
That's the way it should be.
Just go on your computer.
Set it in. That is. So you need that kind of certainty in what you do. You avoid chaos.
Yeah.
Then the other thing, of course, is impunity. The reason why people don't break the laws in the country that we admire, where people steal money from Nigeria to go and live and die there, only to come back to be buried here, turning Nigeria to a graveyard, from where they make their. The reason why those countries work is because people are not able to break the laws
and get away with it.
It's not because they don't want to. Italians might eat more pasta. Some other people might drink more tea than us. But there's nothing different. Human beings are the same. It's just a system. It's the environment that makes sure that if you drive on the road and you go past the red light, you get a ticket at home, digitalized, which you didn't want, you were afraid of, because you have a system.
No, Professor, don't get me wrong. I am actually for digitalization.
But you're worried.
I'm not worried.
That is a killer view.
No, I'm just thinking about the Nigerian out there.
Yes.
The way most of us think. You want to get a passport, okay. Who do you know in passport office? Who do you know? You don't have to know anybody.
That's a system we run because it's a corrupt system.
From what you're saying, you just go on your computer
and get it done.
Fill all the forms and submit, and then they post it to you. Well, postage doesn't work well in Nigeria yet. Or they'll tell you when to come and pick it up and where to pick it up.
That's a good example you make there, because you tie together scarcity and certainty. Why can't we have a passport office in every local government in Nigeria? It's just a question. It's a very simple thing. Let me bring in Dr. Adoye.
Yes. Dr. Adoye, we spoke earlier about a vision for this country, and we are searching for leaders now. Once the primaries are over, the representatives of the parties, as agreed by the parties, will start campaigning. So, what kind of vision are you hoping that they will tell us that they have for Nigeria? And if they don't have one, what would you be advising them to propose to us as a vision?
Okay, good. When you look at Section 14 of the Constitution, it talks about the primary purpose of government. Very simple. It is the welfare, security of the people. So, and then you need to now look at what welfare stands for. It covers so many things: access to education, healthcare, good road, and of course, waterways. So if you are coming into office, you should be able to tell us how to address our problem. I want to disagree with my friend, Professor Killer. We were colleagues at a point where we were discussing about the future of Nigeria in a group, that there's nothing wrong for you to have a plan that is beyond 4 years when it addresses the welfare of the people. We're talking about things that has to do with, for example, if you want to have primary healthcare center in all the local governments in the country, there are certain projects, the period goes beyond 4 years. So you can have a plan. The problem that we've had before now is that when a government is in place and they have a good project, another regime comes on board and they just feel, oh, this project is for my predecessor, I don't want to continue. And that's why I'm glad that the real project that Jonathan started, that Buhari was able to continue major part of it, because Amechi was saying that Jonathan had done this project to a great extent. So if you want to be a leader in Nigeria, we are looking for full cast out of you. That's the acronym, full cast. Are you a firm person? Are you sound? Are you intelligent? Now, Professor Killer was talking about corruption as an issue. The fish get rotten if the head is not good. That's why they put salt there. I remember when Obasanjo was president, there was a particular minister who made wrong recommendation about Professor Dora Akunyili, that she did not study pharmacy, and so she should not be given that position as a DG of NAFDAC. The day Obasanjo discovered that that memo was not true, and this minister invited him to a gathering, and he said, we are doing our best, we are doing this. The response of Obasanjo at that meeting was that, what best are you doing other than to be misleading the president? Wrong recommendation. Now, if the leader is firm, and you just see there is something in international shipping law that says jettison for the safety of the voyage. If you have caliber of people in your cabinet that are messing up and you are a leader, just take 2, 3, 4, 5 scapegoats. In the morning, when a man is on his way to go to work, he should hear in the network news that he has been sacked. Then everybody will sit tight. If the Inspector General of Police messes up, you deal with that person immediately. So everything, the buck stops at the table of the leader. You are going to be held responsible for whatever the people, what they are doing. So corruption will go, there will be welfare, there will be accountability if the leader is ready to lead example. So whoever is coming on board must be able to prove to us that there is full cast around his life. He must be fair. He must be somebody who is going to lead by example, not somebody who will encourage corruption. And he says, you can go ahead. There are so many people that are messing up in this country today that if some other persons were to be in charge, those people would not even, they wouldn't even try what they are trying to do. So they should hear their name announced on radio that you have been removed. That's how to create sanity. In the 14th century, there was a judge
Mr.
that received...
Mr. Adeoye, I beg your pardon. Mr. Adeoye. Mr. Adeoye, Alero Edu has been chosen by she's been given the ticket of AAC party. There's no such party, by the way. And she's looking for advice from well-meaning Nigerians. And she's asked you, what should I propose as a vision for Nigeria? That's my question.
A Nigeria that is...
And a vision is not a long list.
Yes. That's why I quoted section 14. The main purpose of government is the security and welfare of the people.
So, am I going to propose that as a vision for Nigeria?
Yes, a Nigeria.
No. It's already my job. It's already the job of government to do that.
A Nigeria that is secure, a Nigeria that you have welfare for the people. And so you now begin to break it down into mission statement. What am I going to do on security? What am I going to do on healthcare? What am I going to do on education? It's not rocket science. The Constitution is there. And I think, just like Professor Killer said, selfish interest and corruption is a matter. But what is the vision? A united Nigeria, a Nigeria that is secure, a Nigeria where there is a level playing ground. And then we need to begin to break down what is the meaning of unity.
And then Professor Killer, when you have given all those mission statements, you then begin to tell us how
are you going to do it?
But one thing before that, he said that you spoke about restricting what you want to do to 4 years, but I recall you said it can be more than 4 years, but you must get the buy-in of Parliament, well, the National Assembly, so that it becomes like a vision.
Yes.
So we are all working towards this, no matter which party you're from, no matter your background, no matter your tribe or your religion. We have all agreed to it.
Yes, and we cannot.
So whether a PDP government hands over to an APC government in a state, the focus is still
there.
The same.
It's still there, yes.
Am I correct?
That's correct. Yes. Thank you for that. Yes.
Yes. So. The vision that he was talking about.
Yes.
So we've got the vision now, and we've broken it down to mission statements.
Yes.
We want to do health. We want to do electricity. We want to do this. So it now becomes the how.
To do it. So let me take a step back, then go to where you want to take me to.
Yeah.
There is a philosophical difference in our conception of state management between myself and the Adeoye. And generally speaking, I think I'm in a minority of this. Nigerians tend to be looking for one man or one woman that can do it. There's emphasis on he. Actually, too much he. I keep adding he or she. Let's use the she example. They keep looking for the he, the messiah, that will be intergerrimous, that will be empathic, reactive to things, that will solve our problem.
That will be firm, that will be a unifier, will be lettered.
You can argue with that. I want everybody to be like that. I want all my students to be that way. I want everybody I meet to be that way. You cannot argue with that. But here's the thing. Whilst I am a big optimist about people and future. I believe in people and future, but I'm a pessimist about leaders. I believe more in the system than individuals. And I think that if we want a country that works, we have to build a system that is based on pessimism and doubt. Optimism and faith is for our individual life. For our collective life, we have to be skeptical and pessimist. And I explain what I mean. We have to imagine that given the way democracy is, what is democracy? I mean, the idea of government for the people, by the people is overrated. You know, it's just mystical almost. Democracy is a situation where one person says, vote for me, like you like on social media. And if you look at what is most liked on social media, you see that they're not actually the most fulfilling things. So who gets elected? Is somebody that can manipulate the system or that can talk and lie and sway people?
Oh, dear.
We have to start thinking that way. We have to really have this precise view about it. So if that is the way people are elected in democracy, we have to start to imagine that anybody that can get into power, they might forget what they've said, they might lie, they might cheat.
But the media always reminds them of what they said.
Or they might go mad. We need to factor that in as well. So when we think about it that way, regardless of who, when we think about it that way, what we the people should be thinking about is system that will safeguard us in case they lie, forget, go mad, or decide to cheat. It is a commonsensical thing to say that everything starts from the head. But you know what? When we're together, let's leave the head out of it. Let us put a system in place that even if the head decides not to be the head, there'll be a system that will force the head to be accountable. I argue, for example, that we need to put a system in place where in any organization, parastatal agency or government, that somebody is accused of fraud and they, at some point, they get convicted for it. So we have hard evidence that they have defrauded. I argue that they should go back there and arrest all the accountants and auditors as well. To say, where were you?
Who might have been complicit.
Who must have been complicit or incompetent. To say, where were you when this stealing was going on? You see, if you have a system like that, it's like when you travel. The airline will not take you if you don't have a visa because they will be penalized.
That's right.
So we have to put in a system where the people meant to guard the system will have something at stake if the system is allowed to be corrupted or manipulated. Every time somebody is accused of rigging election, the INEC officers in that region should be arrested as well, I argue. To say, where were you? If the court says somebody has manipulated the system, those who allowed it should be culpable as well. So my thinking is this.
Yeah, but sometimes the INEC official has nothing to do with the rigging that has taken place.
Then he should come and prove that I was simply incompetent or I lose focus on the ball, on the game. So
Professor,
my argument is this.
Professor, a ballot box is carted away and the counting is done. I mean, what can the INEC officer do apart from just go and report to the police? Oh, my ballot boxes have just been carted away.
Then you report it and you stop the hello, people, ballot box has been carted away. Nothing goes on. There and then.
Okay.
That is what you do. Okay. So you ask for vision. You know what? The vision should be a system that works.
Okay. Mr. Dewi, the system seems to be a big issue right now.
Yes.
All these shenanigans are going on in Nigeria because we do not have strong systems. Look at all the things that ex-President Trump tried to do in America, which he couldn't achieve because the systems did not allow him to do those things. The systems worked. So what do you have to say about systems in Nigeria?
No,
is that really our problem?
Now, if you look at the democracy in the United States, it's been on for quite a number of years.
For more than 200 years?
So, over 2 centuries ago. Yep. And so, what you find in the US today is a progressive development from the leaders who have vision. And Professor Killer is a professor. I see certain theories in what he's coming up with, but with the kind of country that we are, we need to now go practical now. So it's talk about if somebody has done something, oh, you pick this, you pick that. Who is going to do that? Now, that's why I say, when a leader, I just gave you an example of what a minister did. And then Obasanjo was so angry, and that minister was removed. He said, no way. Now, the body language of whoever is going to lead an organization matters a lot. For example, if you are a leader in your office, you say everybody must come with this dress in this particular manner. And the leader is the one violating that system. Every other person, they will follow him. As you work with channels, if they say be on stage at so time, and then nobody in your office, your employer is not enforcing this, then there's going to be problem. That's what causes breakdown of law and order. Systems will only grow when the leaders believe in the system. Now, when you have a leader who does not believe in the system and say, I beg, leave all this one. Sir, so person has done so fire him. I say, leave me alone, fire who? He donated for our campaign. So this comes. So when you want to build a strong system, you will begin to, there will be scapegoats. And once that is done, everybody, they will sit tight. If you tell the commissioner of police and say, Mr. IG, if I hear him in that state again, you are gone. You tell the commissioner of police, the IG tells the commissioner of police, president tells the IG, if I hear him in Anambra again, that they kill anybody, you are gone. Now, take a look at this. There are so many of my Southeast friends that want to contest for election. And I hear that today in Southeast, court does not sit on Mondays. It's a sit at home. And governors are sitting down and they are fine, that should continue. So, if you tell the IG, if I hear him, IG tells his commissioner of police, the commissioner of police talk to his DPO. So it flows down like that. That's what we call chain of command, authority. But when the leader fails to act on the people that are responsible to him, then the whole thing degenerates down the line. Okay. So these are the things that build systems.
Mr. Adeoye,
so over time, we can
Mr. Adeoye, I do beg your pardon. We are running almost out of time. So I just have enough time to take your closing statement, but I want you to please factor in an advice for the polity at this point. Yeah. Those who are seeking to employ the managing director of this enterprise called Nigeria.
Well, I think for the citizens, I would advise citizens to develop a consciousness of citizenry, to actually see themselves as citizens and consumers, rather than followers and supporters of a personality or identify themselves with a group. That is for citizens. For those proposing for power, I think they should look for ways to convince people that they can actually solve the problem. They need to, A, show they know the issues at hand, and B, prove that they can solve those issues. I think that's what we need.
Okay. Mr. Adeoye?
Yes, my advice is that for Nigerians, look for people who possess what I call full caste. Firm, a unifier, loving, lettered, caring, accountable, sound in mind, and in good health, and then somebody that can be trusted. So when you look at that in people, now anybody who wants to lead should come and tell us how to solve our problem, how we can have true federalism, how we can be united as a country, how there can be law and order and equity. If you cannot assure us of this, security, law and order, unity, equity and fairness, you don't have any reason to come to say you want to lead Nigeria, because that's our big problem now. Disunity, insecurity is a big challenge for us.
Mr. Adeoye, they tell us all those things, but when they get there, they seem to just have some selective amnesia. And so that's what we'll have to deal with.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Olubenga Adeoye is a chartered accountant who joined us virtually. And we had Professor Anthony Kila, who was in our studio in Lagos, Professor of Strategy and Development. Thank you very much, gentlemen. I am just hoping that the viewers are better advised today in this search for the CEO of this enterprise who will be elected in 2023. Thank you very much. Sunrise will return in just a moment with another interesting conversation. Do join us.